So we got some rather unfortunate news for the Seattle Seahawks fans and the Seattle Seahawks. So the Seattle Seahawks have released defensive end Carlos Dunlap, creating $14.1 million in cap space, which is a lot of money, but regardless, you're kind of losing a very good defender. Um, yeah, it clears up $14.1 million. He's obviously the two-time Pro Bowler who's a long-time Cincinnati Bengal. He's obviously going to be a free agent this year. I want to read this quote, Nate, real quick, because this is a quote that he made when he went to the Seahawks. I think it was it might have been like after their loss to the Rams in the playoffs. He said, "I'd love to stay in Seattle as long as they'll have me." Um, it was very clear what I was coming here to do and what my time span would be. So now it's a conversation, and I'm open and welcome for it. You guys already know how grateful I am to be here. They're taking care. They've taken care of. Excuse me. They've taken great care. I think it's a great organization for vets. Although I feel young and fresh, like a young player as well. I feel like I've got a lot of ball left, and I would like to finish it up with an organization like this. My two goals are still win a Super Bowl and 100 sacks, and I have not accomplished either one of them. I haven't won a playoff game. I think we have the pedigree here to do all of that next season, and I would love to be a part of it. And just a couple of stats that he had for 2020. 2020 with the Seattle Seahawks, he had 14 total tackles and 5 sacks. And this article was reported by Brady Henderson, ESPN staff writer. So I'll give it to you first, Nate. Your thoughts on Carlos Dunlap being released by the Seahawks?
Yeah, well, first of all, I just want to wish Carlos Dunlap the best of luck moving forward. I want to start off with the cat space real quick. So I actually have a list here. I'm gonna put it up on the screen real quick. You guys can pause it and look at it if you want to. I'm not sure if you can really see that. I'm trying to find the Seahawks one. It's somewhere. It's somewhere in the way. Oh, I see. I see it. I see it. All right. Anyway, it says.
I love to see my Vikings in the red. Don't you just love it?
Oh yeah. Well, you guys can pause if you can see it. Pause it. But if you want to look at the list for yourself. But the Seahawks before this had a salary cap of 7.5 million. So to add that 14 million, in the salary cap really does help them. What they can get out of that, I don't know. I mean, they can figure something out. I don't run that damn franchise, but they can figure something out. Um, as for Carlos Dunlap himself, yeah, I mean, obviously, he played with the Bengals for quite a while, and we all know the Bengals. They had that nice playoff team. They went like what 6 straight, and they just couldn't win a single game. Which I mean, it's pretty unfortunate, but it is what it is. But all right, look, if I'm Carlos Dunlap, after what you read with that quote, if I'm Carlos Dunlap, if you want to go to a team and win a Super Bowl and win a playoff game, go to the Buccaneers. That would be my suggestion. That's just my suggestion. I mean, you want to go and win a Super Bowl or go to the Colts. Like I said, the Colts. I've been saying on the show many times, the Colts are a perfect team to go to. Not to mention they have, like we said, they have a little bit of everything. They have a top 5 offense, top 5 defense, maybe top 3. You can argue that too, and they have a top 5 in special teams. But what they also have is cap space. They have 71 million, which is the third most in the league. I'm telling you, bro, this is literally the perfect team to go to. Because not only do they have top 5 in basically every category, coaching, special teams, offense, defense, but they also have top 3 in salary cap. I'm telling you guys, this is literally the perfect team to go to for any player. I don't care who you are. But I mean, between Bucks and the Colts, go to either one. But if you really want to win that Super Bowl, just go to the damn Buccaneers with Tom Brady. He'll just hit you up and be like, "Yo, you want to win a Super Bowl?" Be like, "Yeah, all right, I'll be there." I'm just serious. That's literally what he did with the Buccaneers. I'm just being real with you guys. Well, hey, look, whether he goes to the Bucks or the Colts or whatever, I do wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors. Obviously, it's unfortunate that he couldn't stay with the Seattle Seahawks and help them, get even further because the last couple of seasons the Seahawks really hadn't had much playoff success. Um, they were expected to go big this year, but obviously, the big bad Rams got in their way. But with that being said, best of luck to Carlos Dunlap in the future, and I'll give it to you now, Mario.
Yeah, I'll take it off from there. Best of luck to Carlos Dunlap in the future. Um, Look, if I'm the Seattle Seahawks, I'm very optimistic about this 14.1 million. Here's why. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to go sign somebody, especially somebody who's probably a free agent right now who hasn't been signed, whose value is declining. You could do that. Or here's what you can do. You got rid of Carlos Dunlap. Okay, you felt like you could have did more if you had better talent. Put it that way. I'm not saying Carlos Dunlap is not a good talent. He is. Here's the thing. If I'm the Seahawks, I'm not going after a veteran defensive end. I'm not doing that because I feel like 1 year contracts to sign a defensive end that you're not so sure about, I just feel like it's a waste of time. Go into the draft, and with that first round pick, I think that's who you should get, a defensive end. Somebody who you're confident in could play a big role immediately and do very good at that role. That's who I think that the Seahawks should go after next, a defensive end. With that 14.1 million, get some. I'm going to use that towards the offensive line, Nate. There is a guy who is
Yeah, I
still a
agree.
free. There is a guy who is still a free agent out there. His name is Brandon Sharif. Brandon Sharif is arguably one of the best offensive linemen in the game. You get Brandon Sharif on that Seattle Seahawks offensive line, you'll see how drastic it changes. Okay, with talk, it's getting to the point where Russell Wilson is not even happy at this point. It doesn't sound like he's been happy. We've heard the
Yeah.
complaints about Russell Wilson and the possible rumors of a trade. Do I think it's going to happen? No, I think it's all talk, just like I think it's all talk with Deshaun Watson. I don't think they're going anywhere. Okay. But in order to keep Russell Wilson in the future, you got to make him happy. The only way you can make him happy, the first step for you to do is grab that offensive lineman. Okay. That's what I'm using that 14.1 million for. If you want to sign the offensive lineman to a 1 year deal, fine. I'm cool with that. Why? Because you signed him to a 1 year 14 million, you signed him to like a 1 year $10 million deal. Perfect. Okay. I don't think Brandon Sharif would have any problem with signing that deal. Okay. You sign that deal, test it out for a year, see how it works. If Brandon Sharif does a good job, you give him a nice little extension. Okay. But that 14.1 million, you better use it wisely. Okay. I do not think this should be used on defense, despite the Seahawks having one of the worst defenses in the league. I don't think that's what you should be using it for. You should be using that money to go grab protection for Russell Wilson. Because let me tell you something. Out of everybody on that Seattle Seahawks team, there's one guy that you got to protect. There's one guy that you got to keep. I don't care if you get rid of everybody on that team. Okay, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Bobby Wagner, Shaquem Griffin, help me out here, Nate, Jamal Adams. Okay, you get rid of that whole team. There's one man that you need to keep, and his name is Russell Wilson. Plain out. It's as simple as that, Nate. And in order to keep him, you got to make him happy. And to make him happy, get an offensive lineman. Because I think it is absolutely unnecessary for Russell Wilson to be running as much as he did last year. It's absolutely unnecessary. So if
Right,
I'm the
right.
Seattle Seahawks, I'm using this 14 million. I'm using most of it on offensive line help, and I'm using the draft to get somebody young who could possibly become a very good defensive lineman in the future and who could have a big impact right away. So, I mean, that's what I'd personally do with all of this. With that being said, I wish Carlos Dunlap the best of luck. Obviously, you mentioned locations. The Buccaneers, obviously, all you got to do is call Tom Brady up, hit him that number, and you're like, all right, bet, say less. I'm gonna take a nice little plane ticket. I'm gonna get a nice little plane ticket, go all the way to Tampa Bay, and we're gonna win another ring. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't start, you're getting a nice little ring. What's the problem here? Like, so you can go to Indianapolis Colts. I've said it. Like, unless you're like a quarterback or unless you're like looking for a starting job as like a linebacker or whatever, there's a lot of the Indianapolis Colts are such a good team to go to. We said it many, many times, and we mean that. They are absolutely one of the best teams to go to, I believe, at this point right now. And so, I mean, with that being said, I wish Carlos Dunlap the best of luck. If he wants to go someplace starting, he could go on like a team that's struggling. But again, one thing he wanted to say is he wants to win that Super Bowl. Here's another one, Nate. How about the Cardinals?
Yeah, that could work too.
I mean, I know they got Hassan Reddick and they got Chandler Jones, but I can definitely see Carlos Dunlap having an impact on that team too. You do a little bit of switching and everything like that. It's a pretty good team. It's a contending team now, considering the fact that they have JJ Watt now. Obviously, JJ Watt's going to be a starter too, but I mean, it couldn't really hurt them, having Carlos Dunlap. I don't think it really would hurt them having him switch in for a couple of plays, give JJ Watt a little bit of time to recuperate and get his energy back up, so he's not playing all tired, he's not playing hurt. So, I mean, with that being said, there are some places that Carlos Dunlap could go. I mean, I take him on the Vikings, to be honest with you. I like him on the Vikings, even though we don't really need a defensive end. I wouldn't mind it. He's been on the Vikings for a very, very. He's been with Cincinnati for a very, very long time. Mike Zimmer was the defensive coordinator for Cincinnati, so there's connections there. Um, but yeah, wherever Carlos Dunlap goes, I do wish him the best of luck. So with that being said, we'll see how the season turns out.